Alright, good afternoon. I did sleep in quite a bit from my previous video. It is Monday morning. Sounds like the neighbors across the street have some rock moving going on. Looked outside and there's a couple of young men with a wheelbarrow redistributing some big giant river rock for their front yard. So that'll be nice to see them kind of get their front yard looking nice in the neighborhood. Used to be my yard until my landlord finally decided to listen to all the complaining neighbors and redo my front yard, which was nice to have done. So what I'm getting started on here, as much as it is enjoyable to hear about my neighborhood, I'm sure, I'm going to just start cleaning up some of these pieces, and then I'll start drilling the holes. Found the bit that I'm going to use for it, which is exactly the same size as the holes, removing this stub here that should not be part of it. So just getting started on the kit. So my son, when he saw this, he looked at me and said, "You sure you want to build that? I don't think that's a good idea to have in the house." And we laughed a bit. And then he asked me if I was going to have a brightening bulb for Hal's eye so that it could go brighter and lesser as his emotional state changed. And I said, no, I wasn't going to do that, because that's not what he's like in the movie at all. And my son was just adamant that Hal's eye changes in intensity over the course of the film, and I assured him it does not, and that you ought to watch the movie. And he insisted he had seen clips and it seemed that way, and I said, well, somebody must have been messing with the clips to have made it look like that, because HAL does not do that at all. So he was a little disappointed. Oh well. Okay, so there's the stand. Really like the simplicity of this kit, and that I was able to find that sound card so inexpensively online a number of weeks ago. I've just been waiting for the kit to arrive. And again, another shout out to Boyd at TrekWorks for his videos showing what he does and the sound card that he makes use of. So just a lonely kind of day today out here in the man cave. Been chatting with some people online and hoping maybe be able to get together once people feel a little more secure with the condition of the world and the state that it is today. I'm still kind of bummed that we will be doing distance learning again. As I've said before, I'm a teacher, a high school teacher, and I really prefer being there with the kids in class, working with them and engaging with them and getting them to think and to express themselves and help them build their confidence through building their competence, which is not always done. So it's kind of disappointing that we are still stuck in the situation we're in, because I know all of my students last semester, my freshmen, my seniors, everybody, just so wanting to get back to school and to stop all this online stuff, which was fine at first, but not for the long haul. I was concerned when it first all happened back in March that school districts around the country would see this, as well as a number of lobbying entities at the state and federal levels, would see the pandemic and the closure of public schools as a prime opportunity to really start attacking the whole public school system in a much more tactile way, and that any teachers that really didn't have much online game would probably find themselves out of a job, and that much of our educational system would just convert over to online packets and worksheets and things like that, to eliminate the teaching profession itself in every way that it could, as a way to drastically reduce the cost of education in our country. And I'll admit I was really worried at first. Even made a video about that. I shared out with a number of my friends on Facebook, and it's been nice to see that as the situation continued and parents were compelled to try to teach their kids at home, which some parents can do very effectively. Homeschooling is a thing that's been out there for a long time, and some parents are able to do that very well, although it tends to pretty significantly limit the social development of their child. To see that around the country so many people now recognize just how difficult teaching is, and I've never myself felt that my job, compares with like oil rig workers or miners or anything of that kind of nature. But there's a whole different skill set required that goes beyond just regurgitating a bunch of information you've learned to a bunch of kids that maybe you want to treat as empty vessels that need to be filled, because that's completely not how the human brain works. That a lot of parents have come to see that teachers are extremely valuable and do a really tough job. Like that. It's cleaned up pretty quick and should be able to get all these painted pretty quick too. I don't think I need to do any cleaning on this. Now what I do want to do, I wonder if I've got enough of it. If not, I can just go down to the... Oh, and I've got the gray. Sweet. Thought I had some more of this. So the main assembly here does not have a backing for it in the kit. But I have this sheet styrene, this gray sheet styrene, which I can use. So all I'll need to do is just put in some little brackets in here with some styrene, and then I can cut this to fit. Wonder if, just eyeball this real quick. Boy, that's going to be really close like that. If I do it like that, I could put the battery up there, and the battery could always be accessible. So I'll figure out how I'm going to cut this to fit. But I've got a couple sheets of it, so I'm good there. I've also got some white sheet styrene. But I think what I'll do to make the little holders in there is I've got a bunch of tubing of different diameter, so like right here, and what I can do is just cut it to length there so it's just below, and then that piece can just mount onto that and be just either flush or slightly recessed. I think maybe I'll do something like that. But I also want it to stay on there, so I'll need to devise some kind of clip or restraint that will hold it in place. And maybe what I could do, if I have, because I have, this is a rod, but I also have tubing. And if I have the right diameter tubing for this rod, then I can just make my own I forget what you call it in a model kit, the pegs and the receptacle, the male and female parts of the alignment pegs, and that would give it enough grip to hold the back plate on. So maybe I'll do something like that. That would be simple. Okay. Now, so the speaker plate, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera. Get the alignment right here. You see how there's all those little holes, all those little circles in there. Yeah, there we go. That shows it a lot better. And all you need to do is just drill those out. So it's not a bunch of squares or anything. They literally are partially. You could consider them partially drilled holes. They're not partially drilled, that's just the way the mold is, but there's very little material to actually drill through. So let's that's going to go pretty well. Yep. So I'll draw out these top 6. This is obviously going to be time consuming, but can you see behind those? So right here, wish I had a little flashlight or something. Looks like my son may have made off with it. I had a little one here. But that'll work very well, and that will allow the speaker to really come through this. Yeah, that's gonna work really well. So I'm not gonna sit here and drill all of this out on camera because that would be insane. Plus, I want to kind of get back to my Law and Order episode that I have going as my white noise while I'm working out here. So I'll check back in with you. Thanks.